It was scary at first. It was scary because I didn't know what to expect. And these doctors would come in there and I don't know, like have this marker and like draw a whatever they would do surgery on the next day. I didn't understand that at first. To me, it was scary.
Your mom got pregnant. How old was she when she got pregnant with you?
She was 14 whenever she got pregnant with me, and 15 when she had me. And
Was she able to care for you in that time?
no, not really. Like we would go here and there, like friends' house, relatives. Like it wasn't stable. So my grandmother, she told my mom that she was gonna take me from her until she found a stable place to stay. And so like I was living with my grandmother, but my grandmother, like she allowed her to come and get me and visit with me or whatnot, but
Yeah.
she had to have me back at a certain time. So um
On the particular day.
yeah, my mom came and got me, and I can remember my favorite place to go was the park, and the merry-go-round was my favorite. So she came and got me, and she was supposed to have me back before dark. Well, we went to the park and we was there or whatever. Well, when it was time for her to take me home, like at that time my mom didn't have transportation, so like we walked to my aunt's, which was like maybe like a 10-minute walk from the park. And when we made it to my aunt wasn't there, but um the neighbor was babysitting her kids, which she had two boys and a girl. And so the neighbor told my mom that she could leave me there while she go find a ride to take me home. Well, I remember uh getting into the bed crying because my mom was leaving. And she left, and um she told me like maybe like 10, 15 minutes into her walk, like she heard this like explosion. And like she turned and looked behind her, and she seen like a cloud of smoke in the air, but like she didn't pay it no mind. She kept walking. So this guy that she went to school with and was friends with, like passed, like drove by her, and he turned around and was like, your sister house just caught on fire. And my mom was like, that's not possible because I just left my sister's house and my daughter's there too. So he was like, like, yeah, it's your sister's house. So my mom got in the car and they went back. Well, whenever they pulled up, like it was three stretchers in the front yard, but on the stretchers, those were my cousins. Like I was left inside the house. The firefighters were about to let the house burn down because there was nothing left to salvage. I had fell behind the bed, and so my mom tried to go inside the house, and the firefighters were like, "No, ma'am," and she was like, "No, my daughter's in there," and they were like, "No, we got everybody out," and she was like, "No, like my daughter's in there." Well, the firefighters sprayed the fire hose again, and they heard me. I started crying. I had fell behind the bed. They went inside, got me or whatever, and
Thank God.
yeah. But here in Midland, like I don't know, I guess like they wasn't able to accommodate like me for my burns because I suffer from like first, second, and third degree burns, and
So they had to air flight you somewhere else.
I went to Oklahoma, and I was in the hospital like almost a year because my burns kept getting infected, um and at that time my mom was there too, and she had to give me they had to take skin from my mom's legs and her back to use it wherever I needed it at. And so eventually when they released my mom from the hospital or discharged her, they arrested her for uh uh I don't know, neglect or something like that. They arrested her because the neighbor that was supposed to been watching us, she wasn't capable of watching us. She suffered from sleep apnea to where she, will fall asleep. Like, so, I mean,
So you're in Oklahoma and then they arrest your mom.
uh
Where did you end up back with your grandparents?
um, yes, like after I was released from the hospital, I went to stay with my grandmother, and when I went to go stay with my grandmother, she like took care of me and my three cousins that was in the house fire. But my three cousins, the girl, she didn't get burned at all. Like, and all of us, we all survived or whatever. But we lived with our grandmother for a little bit, and then my mom, like, she got a job, a stable place to where I can come live with her or whatever. And at that time, I was her only child, and so it wasn't like she had like other kids to, like to care for or whatever. So, but after that, I remember going to school, like it was hard too because like the kids or whatever. I remember a couple of times like I would get up in the middle of the night and unplug the alarm clock so my mom wouldn't hear it to get me ready for school or whatever because of the kids. So,
And at this time, you were going back and forth having surgeries pretty regularly, right?
like the Shriners in Galveston, like I would go there like maybe twice a year.
What was that experience like?
Uh, it was scary at first. It was scary because I didn't know what to expect, and these doctors would come in there and I don't know, like have this marker and like draw of whatever they would do surgery on the next day. I didn't understand that at first. To me, it was scary.
Was your mom there with you?
hmm Yeah, my mom and my grandmother. So, um, like, when they would come in and like use the marker and draw whatever we were gonna have surgery on, and the next day, like when they would come and get me for surgery, I hated the smell of the anesthesia or the gas or whatever. I can smell it like right now. Like, I hated that, but I don't know. As time went by, like, and I got older, like, I'm not gonna say that it. I mean, like, it got easier, but I mean, I was still scared, you know.
And this was to accommodate your body as it grew
hmm
because of the scarring.
Yeah.
So you're going to school, you're living with mom then?
Yeah, at the age of 12, we lived in this small apartment complex, and across the street there were like a couple of houses where people lived or whatever. And there was this guy that lived there, that lived across the street from the apartments that we lived in. And um he used to, like, I don't know, like, try to mentor my brothers or whatever or whatnot, because at that time their dad wasn't in the picture. And like, he would play football or whatever with them. But I remember one Wednesday after getting out of church, like, my mom hardly wasn't there. Like, I had to raise my brothers and, like, make sure that they were fed, their homework done. And so one night after church, I remember getting my brothers prepared for bed or whatever, and the guy that supposedly was, like, supposed to be mentoring them, like, he broke into our apartment and he raped me. So, I mean,
How did you get out of that situation? Did you tell after the fact, and did the co was he arrested? And
my mom, like, after it happened, my mom came like 5 minutes later, and she was asking me, like, why was I still awake? And I really don't remember, but she told me that, like, I was crying and I was saying the guy's name that lived across the street that did it, but I don't know, I guess I was in shock or whatever. I don't remember, but she asked me what happened, and I told her, like, to go look in her bed, and from him having intercourse with me or whatever. So the police was called. They collected his DNA from my mom's bed, and they did a rape test on me. And I don't know, like, it took like 2 weeks before the for the results to come back, and he was like walking around free. Like, I was scared. And so when they came back, he was arrested. And I don't know, like 3 years ago he just barely got out, but he failed to register as a sex offender, and, like, they locked him right back up. So
good. He deserves that.
uh,
Very sorry that that.
yeah.
So you go through all of that. What were your teenage years like?
um,
Were you in Midland or
I was in Midland. Like, I don't know, like, the bad outweighs the good, because from my accident, like, I had so much anger built up, you know? Like, I took it out on everybody. Like, you couldn't look at me wrong. You couldn't whisper, or, I felt paranoid, like, everybody's talking about me. Everybody's looking at me, and I was constantly in and out of jail for, like, fighting because of you couldn't look at me a certain way, because I felt like, oh, like, you're talking about my scars or whatever.
yeah.
But um
So did you meet a man did you ever have a husband or anybody in
No,
your life that
I never been married, but I have 8 children. Yeah, but, my second child's father asked me to marry him, but, like, I don't know, I wasn't ready, and, like, I felt like I wasn't ready, and I was, like, young, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't finished, like, living my life, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
So, I told him no, and, like, he asked me twice, but I told him no, so
See, that's fair. I'm glad that you chose yourself.
mhm.
That's good. Your kiddos are grown.
Yeah,
Yeah. You just been working hard,
yeah,
putting it all back together for yourself.
at least trying, like I mean, at first, like, when I started working where I'm working at, like, it was hard because how people would stare or and I'm like, this isn't for me. This job isn't for me. But then I don't know, like at the end of the day, like I was like, it's either this job or nothing, you know, like
Yeah.
forget what people have to say. Like if they do have something to say, then that's what they
That's
got
on
going on.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
completely on them.
um I don't know, I just toughened up and like just look past all the negative people. Like it's times to where like I let stuff get to me, you know, but then there's times to where like I can be sarcastic back too, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
I
You
mean,
almost have to in a way to deal with how viciously unfair this life is and how unjust it is.
mhm,
It is coming for everybody in one way or another. I don't think that anybody gets through without any suffering or any pain or any loss or any grief, but it's how you can respond to it. And I'm so glad that, you went to the counseling and
mhm,
sought out different means of support because it does make you angry and
mhm,
it is unfair and it's not right and it's not okay what happened to you and you shouldn't just have to throw a smile on your face and just be happy that you're still here. That's not how it feels at all.
mhm,
It's actually really hard every single day, and it takes so much intentionality to to carry on your will to just keep doing it.
mhm,
I know that this is hard. I know that all of those things that you suffered are hard, and you didn't deserve that.
mhm. And like when me and my mom would like argue or whatever, I would throw it in her face like, it's your fault that this happened to me. Had you not left me there, then this wouldn't have happened. And like, I regret saying that and I apologize or whatever because everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
So like, to get back at her, I would say that because I know that that would get to her.
Right.
And it did like to where like one time I said it and like she tried to commit suicide.
Oh, no.
So yeah. So like after she did that, like I never said it again because you only have one mom and you know,
Yeah, that's good.
yeah.
I'm sorry that that happened to you and to her.
Mhm.
How have you how have you gotten through your support system, counseling, your faith? What has gotten you through to now?
Um, like I have an aunt that lives in she used to live in Fort Worth, but she lives in Big Spring now. Like I don't know, it's just her and her positive affirmations.
Yeah.
And I tell her like a lot that I feel like giving up. Like I feel like giving up, and she was like, because our last name is Williams. She was like, "No, you're a Williams. Like we never give up. We're fighters." And but my aunt and I really can't say too much that of my brothers, cause if they saw me crying right now, they'll be like, "Man, suck that shit up."
Oh,
Like,
the tough
cry
love.
baby. Yeah.
The tough love.
And I'm like, and they don't like the crying stuff, like, or whatever, but
Yeah, but sometimes that's really healing. Sometimes that's exactly what we need is
yeah.
just to
So that's why I really don't call them or whatever, cause I don't want to hear that, you know?
if there was one thing that you could ask for that we could do for you or a couple things, what could I help you accomplish?
Mm, I mean, I don't know. Like, that's hard to answer because I'm not saying you, but so much in the past, like I've been let down, you know,
Sure.
and I confided in a childhood friend and she used it against me. So it's hard to, that's a hard question.
Okay. Well, we're gonna work on it for sure because I want to do something and we'll just figure out what that looks like. What is something that you would say to a little girl out there who went through what you went through?
Mm, I would say like it's not the end of the world. Like things will get better. Uh, just keep the faith and seek help or support.
Yes, I agree. I think that's so good. That's really good. It's hard. I know that it's hard to not be mad at God and mad at everything. I know in my own experience, I was mad at the world. I was just mad at the way that the world is.
Mhm.
I was mad at the devil. I was mad at God for not giving us our miracle. I was mad at myself. I was mad at a lot of people. So I can only imagine. And I'm really sorry that you suffered in that way. And I hope that people see this and it changes their perspective and the way that they treat other people. That would be really great.
Mhm. Yeah, remember I text you that, you know, like the people that were rude, cruel and mean or whatever, like try to walk in my shoes before you have something negative to say, you know, like it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
Yeah.
But
And honestly, sometimes the thing that you say to a person is the difference between life and death.
mhm,
You have no idea where a person might be and how close to the edge they might be.
right.
So choose kindness and put a smile on and be kind and just think before you act and speak because golly.
Yeah. And the day that my coworker had gave me your card and I was like, I thought he was BSing because like we play a lot. When he gave me your card and I was like, "Man, you found this outside on the ground." And he was like, "No, like, this lady, she came in here and she gave me this." I was like, "Bullshit." I was like, you went outside and you picked it up off the ground." And he was like, "No, for real." And then I called you and I was like, he was like, "See, I told you." And,
I'm so glad that you did.
yeah.
I'm
At
so glad.
first I wasn't, I was like, "Man, mm-mm."
Yeah, it's scary and it's a lot. It's a
Mhm.
lot to come and put your story out there, but oh, it's gonna be so encouraging to the little girls of the world that are walking in shoes like you walked.
Mhm.
And you're proof that you can do it.
Yeah. I'm 46 now, and that happened when I was 3 years old, so that's a lot, like,
It is a lot.
to be carrying, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would love to stay in touch and I would love to keep coaching you because I absolutely genuinely care about you and what happens to you.
Thank you.